Right, welcome to a very good evening here on the Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Back on your screens again, and of course the evening edition and bro, and yeah, baby did commoning in our house and Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Again, someone subscribe to the channel now. You are wasting so much time. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notification turning, do choose all. So anytime your content ever drop what have you, and you are first to have it here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Send every video, come pa. Area my net in semno, ya bonne bede, ni kufu, bro. On Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. So, investor, so there. If you've checked the codes, you are already smiling. Ebi enya cash out so which are 50 cities are when you cash out of over 500, so when you cash out of almost 1,002 or so of the 6 code also no nyina dem hi Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube how dey am adom we give you constant updates in some codes we try ready it's every morning all the codes get in there or the description of the video we find out how gumbo ho no we try na bibia come pa area ma any komodo where do we start from See, there is big breaking news on Mohamed Kudus to Chelsea. Noni Madueke's Arsenal's interaction of him and all of the conversation that is going on. And from the starting piece outside of of course, from now, there is updates on Abrentia Fredo Moises Caicedo on Sada. Andy, one member of my team, my gentleman in charge of my production, Andy Costa. Or come Unyabo Moises Caicedo was on Sada. Moises Caicedo on Sada. I mean, quality player, Moises Caicedo. And there was a video of Moises Caicedo in and around New York. It's not bad. He's fine. And it looks as he said, Moises Caicedo will be able to play the subsequent games now when it comes to the final. On Sunday, it looks as he said, Moises Caicedo will be able to play And then, say, Tottenham Hotspur have agreed a £55 million deal with team and friend West Ham United for Brentford friend Mohamed Kudus. So a couple of days ago, they didn't come say on the part of Mohamed Kudus, Arsenal, what's the name? West Ham Tottenham Hotspur were having a personal conversation with him, and he had agreed that he wanted to play for Tottenham Hotspur. In fact, Fabrizio even reported that Mohamed Kudus was clear that he didn't want to negotiate any other club but for Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, you ask yourself because he was a player that Chelsea was really interested in. Now that it's official that he's going to go to Tottenham Hotspur, it means that Chelsea would have to reevaluate a few things. It means that Chelsea would have to look at how things will pan out, and it means that Chelsea would have to understand that he's going. Then what becomes of Chelsea's plan? But let me explain how Mohamed Kudus has moved to Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, you see, Chelsea made it clear that after buying Jimmy Bino Gittins, Joao Pedro, and then Liam Delap, and bringing all of those boys on board, they were not going to buy any other player. There were not going to be any other incomings until sales are made. So we are Chelsea in a team. At this point in time, Chelsea aren't likely of buying anybody until they make some sales. So players need to be quiet. That's where Noni Madueke comes in. That's where Joao Felix comes in. That's how Renato Vega comes in. That's how Benjamin Chilwell comes in. Ishi Samuel, Chelsea Academy boys. So that's where all of these boys do come in terms of Chelsea making sales before they can buy certain players. So the conversation was straightforward. For West Ham United, they wanted a bidding war of a sort between Chelsea and then Tottenham Hotspur so that they can increase the amount of money and get more for Mohamed Kudus. I mean, something that didn't see the light of day because one, the player and then West Ham and Tottenham Hotspur agreed contract things early, and then two, the fact that Chelsea's financial situation meant that they wanted to do some sales before they buy any other player out of them. So what that would have meant is that Chelsea probably would have spoken to Mohamed Kudus and asked him to stall the negotiation, so anybody buy time for Chelsea to come. But the truth of the matter is that Mohamed Kudus and his entourage don't have a good relationship with Chelsea. If you remember, 2 years ago, Chelsea wanted a left winger, right winger, versatile midfielder. There was Michael Olise, there's Buddy Bakola, there was Cole Palmer, and there's Mohamed Kudus. Chelsea went to Ajax Amsterdam, asked about Mohamed Kudus, and they said that they were going to pay only 20 million for Mohamed Kudus. Chelsea felt that it was just, Mohamed Kudus then entourage at the time felt that it was disrespectful for Chelsea to pay such a low amount of money for a player of that talent, of that caliber. So they don't have that relationship. And the boy felt that, okay, if I go to Tottenham Hotspur, I get to play week in, week out. I mean, wherever you want to play me on the front line, whether you are playing me as a center forward, as a winger, as a midfielder, consistently, I'm going to be able to play for Tottenham Hotspur as a team. Again, I mean, Son Heung-min is agent, 32, 33, getting out of the Premier League, I mean, very, very soon. It means that Moises Caicedo goes in as one of the top players of the club after James Maddison, the likes of Dejan Kulusevski, Rodrigo Bentancur, Son Heung-min himself. Mohamed Kudus goes into that team and believes that he's in a team where he is one of the big boys of the club. I also think that the agents, felt that when they look at what Tottenham Hotspur were offering them, which was a 5-year contract, in that contract, after 2 seasons, if Mohamed Kudus performs well in the Champions League, performs well in the league, it gives him the advantage for the bigger boys to come for him. I mean, maybe Bayern Munich, maybe Barcelona, maybe Real Madrid. It's a good career path as compared to Chelsea. Like Chelsea would have given him a 7-year contract for it to make it difficult for any other club to come for him after just 2 years. Chelsea definitely would have made it more difficult for him. So as a Ghanaian, I think that that's a good move for Mohamed Kudus. As a Chelsea fan, obviously, I am gutted to say Chelsea have not gotten Mohamed Kudus, but Chelsea, honestly, they have a plan. Now, the plan of Chelsea starts from the fact that from now till the end of July, it's about sales. And that is why Chelsea are keen on finalizing the deal for Brentford Noni Madueke. What the whispers from Chelsea are telling us is that Noni Madueke hasn't developed to the level where they expected him to develop to. Noni Madueke hasn't gotten to the level where Chelsea thought that, okay, Yakako for PSV end up in about 21.5 million pounds. And after 2 years, they were expecting that Noni Madueke was going to be a Bradley Barcola. Noni Madueke was going to be on the level of maybe a Vicha Kvaratskhelia. Noni Madueke probably would have been doing things that maybe a Lamine Yamal or Rafinha would have been doing for their teams, but he's not doing that for Chelsea. Although, in my own analysis, and I've said it several times, I don't change my mind, that in a season where you saw Noni Madueke, you saw Nicholas Jackson, you're making a mistake because why are you going to sell 2 of the most settled attackers in the team? If you are bringing in new boys, there's no guarantee that these boys are going to hit the ground running. I mean, I wish I'm wrong. I don't think that Estevao Willian will hit the ground running just like that. He needs to learn from somebody. On that right wing, there is Pedro Neto, there is Cole Palmer, there is, of course, Estevao Willian himself. Giovanni Quenda will join us there. So, of course, Chelsea have a lot of quality, but Estevao has to learn from somebody. Is Chelsea telling me that they believe that Estevao is going to learn from Pedro Neto? Fine, of course, if that's the case, then okay. But Arsenal would have to pay up. They have to pay good money to get a bunch of Noni Madueke. Almost 50 million plus add-ons. I'm on their Chelsea in their opening bid for Noni Madueke. Is it enough for you? Oh, yeah, Chelsea, yeah. I want to know from you. Even if you're an Arsenal fan, is it enough that you're buying a backup winger for 15 million from Chelsea Football Club? Or you think that it's not enough? Do you think that it's a little bit overpriced when you're buying it? But Chelsea say that Sikana Anthony Elanga, Newcastle for the Kofane fee, Brighton Kofane fee, Nottingham Forest. No, it's the same amount of money or more that say Arsenal and the before Brentford and Noni Madueke. And yes, they are. Noni Madueke and far more. What we are hearing is that Arsenal are very, very keen on him. In fact, a lot of Arsenal fans are not happy. Omujiri said for Mikel Arteta, it's about so I can change him, I can make him better kind of coaching. And he wants to bring players up or inspire them to do better and then play well. But they don't think say or no Abranti friend Mikel Arteta, no, he will be able to do well. I mean, when it comes to getting the best out of these players, Arsenal are really not happy. Arsenal fans are just not happy when it comes to Noni Madueke coming in. But we hear that Andrea Berta, Mikel Arteta, and all the scouting team believe that one of the most explosive wingers of our Premier League on the right-hand side of Brentford and Noni. And they believe, I've explained several times, that they want to take away the burden of stress and creative, creative tendency, all from a Brentford and Bukayo Saka and other Brentford and Noni. And we have also seen Noni Madueke playing on the left wing in recent times. I mean, in the recent years, Noni has been able to play, not recent years, in the recent weeks and months, Noni has been deployed by Enzo Maresca on the left-hand side. From the point of view of Enzo Maresca, Wamana is clear to Noni any players thing, I say, for him as a coach, he wants players that want to stay. Or the players that are and want to play for Chelsea Football Club. Say, when you're ready, say, overball for Chelsea, week in, week out, when you're ready, say, every day, be out there with Juma for Chelsea, then he is sorry. You are going to be in a little bit of a fixed kakra into yourself, Nyanto Boisier, na or no, a friend is saying Enzo Maresca, and she's saying a team of players who really, really want to play. That's exactly what my brand here, your friend, Noni Madueke situation of ETL. So Chelsea will have to sell and start as a brand friend in Noni Madueke. Now, Chelsea for our young player, be free of academy friend, Ishi Smith Samuels, a brand here or Ghanaian heritage. Or your left back, not and he was pictured at Strasbourg for training ground and Strasbourg for a stadium training section. Chelsea wanted that call him. What they say is that they want to take him on loan to Strasbourg. In fact, that was the initial report here. What we are hearing in the last few hours and is that and yet just know that Chelsea for one person the Ishi Smelt echo Strasbourg for. They also want to take Ishi Smelt there on a permanent deal with Chelsea getting a buyback option into 6 million per to team a friend of Strasbourg. And then there's going to be a buyback option at Strasbourg for a bit to me. And the young brand friend Ishi Smith Samuels that money is going to come in. Now another player, a brand friend Joao Felix from Benfica. Benfica for are closing in aggressively. They want to finalize the deal for Brantia, your friend of Joao Felix to team my friend SC Benfica. They want to make sure Brantia friend of Joao Felix ebeba team in one time. One game nibi na feed our bomb. Of course, for Joao Felix, he wants to go back to his native Portugal. He believes strongly that Portugal ebeba or no as a player in terms of Joao Felix and what he brings to the team. So he wants to go back to the club. And I know and our negotiations now started. Chelsea for say just 25 million. Benjamin Chilwell Ekahon, Raheem Sterling and Chelsea young boys not returning to preseason one returning. So it's clear that Chelsea want to sell Benjamin Chilwell as well. They want to sell Raheem Sterling as well. Benjamin Chilwell, as we hear, has offers from Fenerbahce and Galatasaray. I mean, places where they can sell and then bring these players in and then make some good money for themselves. So, I mean, Chelsea's next set of plan is to sell before they can bring in some more players. And who should be the next winger Chelsea for the Babashe team? I doubt that Chelsea will buy a direct winger from the right-hand side because, like I said, there's Pedro Neto, there's Cole Palmer can play there, there's Estevao Willian, and they also strongly believe that next season, Abrantia, your friend Giovanni Quenda can come also and come and play for them and be very, very successful. So Giovanni Quenda, everybody then why would they waste their time to waste their time on Abrantia, your friend Noni Madueke, or force Abrantia, your friend Noni Madueke to stay? They won't do that. So they'll wait for Giovanni Quenda to come. And it means that Chelsea will buy somebody of the profile of Abrantia friend Mohamed Kudus. What we are hearing is that it's going to be Morgan Rogers, Abrantia, or what Aston Villa. For a lot of my friends, I'm in comment about versatility of midfielders, the quality of midfielders that Chelsea want to buy. A lot of the people have said, say, Abrantia friend Morgan Rogers is a kind of guy that Chelsea should bring into the team. And I catch him and say it has to be Morgan Rogers because or ball carrying ability, or dribbling ability from deep. He's able to create chances from deep. And he's also versatile, can play across the front three, multiple positions. That is what Morgan Rogers can give you in that team of Chelsea Football Club. And that's exactly what we are expecting, say, as the transfer conversation goes on. Maybe Chelsea will be able to do again. Chelsea will look at market opportunities for not for a left back. Jara had to conversation, will come up again. Chelsea, after making some sales, will look at a backup for Abrantia friend Marco Correa. In the Club World Cup, Correa has played every game. So because 2 seasons ago, na Correa some injuries be any other day. Now, in the Club World Cup, Correa can play in every game, has played in every game. And Chelsea will look at getting somebody off the ship, especially if they sell Abrantia friend Renato Vega. If Vega doesn't leave the team, and Vega stays here, then maybe Chelsea will be forced to, reintegrate a branch of Renato Vega into the club. But Vega, they were kind of clear, say, on up a game time at left centre back, and then left back, on left back. Chelsea, left centre back on them, Benoit Belachile, Levi Kuol, all of these guys are there. And it's not clear, say, Chelsea for are going to go in there and then bring in, let him play our left centre back. So the most clearest plays, unless he changes his mind and wants to play a left centre back, that's where he's going to play. Because obviously, Chelsea, when you're playing as a left centre back, you need to invest, you need to play more of the ball, you need to be more on the ball and be more expressive on the ball and help create chances for the team. Chelsea, if you want to say a left centre back, the bedding, this is a left centre back. So Chelsea, I asked for player friend Gerald Hartu or no, one of the boys at Chelsea for Airshare, who possibly will come in and then be a backup to a brand friend of Marco Correa. Chelsea need a backup to Marco Correa. They want a backup to Marco Correa. And I'm here analysis with data, with signs, and with the eye test to be able to arrive at who the real person to be the replacement, to be the backup for Marco Correa. Is if they Chelsea will be able to do their job. Until we'll see how Chelsea will do. A good job for all of the players that they are bringing in over there now. Right after that, now the big question is that Chelsea the place where they have a lot of issues are your goalkeeper. Chelsea team, the clearest weak point is the goalkeeping area. How do you solve the goalkeeping area? Do you go into the season with Robert Sanchez and then wait till the season starts and get another player, maybe in January, waiting Mike Mignon and Ase Bibisa, or you still maintain a bench here, your friend of Robert Sanchez to do the job for you? These are some of the questions that Chelsea Forum will have to answer. Of course, a brand here friend of Victor Osimhen to Galatasaray on, and then there's going to be a crunch meeting between team my friend SC Galatasaray, any team between Galatasaray for any Napoli for them to arrive at a conclusion and then finality for a brand here friend of Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen. Arsenal for are also still on our brand here friend Eberechi Eze. Noni Madueke can play both on the left and the right, but then the real monster on the left hand side is going to be our brand here friend of Eberechi Eze. And Arsenal for believe strongly that Eberechi Eze adds a lot of quality to their team next to our brand here friend Bukayo Saka. So there's going to be Victor Gyökeres, Eberechi Eze, Noni Madueke, adding to the already very good Arsenal attack of Leandro Trossard, and then, of course, Gabriel Martinelli or Team Ethan Nwaneri are all part of this pack of players. Arsenal for Edeka on the team. Of course, for Ethan Nwaneri, he's signing a new contract extension with team your friend Arsenal. Or Germany, according to CF Bayern, Luis Diaz, Adjatum, personal terms with team my friend Bayern München. Wakachom said he would want to come. Barca are still there. There is that big meeting between team and friend FC Barcelona and a team any brand your friend Marc-Andre ter Stegen. They need to arrive at a finality. Where does Marc-Andre ter Stegen's future lie? How does he want to play? Does he want to be part of the goalkeepers Barcelona? Does he want to go and get consistent playing time elsewhere? What really is the plan for Abentia, your friend Marc-Andre ter Stegen? Of course, do not forget, say he's the goalkeeper of the DI Mannschaft of Germany. Germany for national team. Abentia friend Marc-Andre ter Stegen, and the senior goalkeeper of our team now. And yes, how things are going to pan out from there, whether he's going to be there. Juan Garcia, Barca are working on signing him. Barca still hold and maintain very high interest in Abentia, your friend Luis Diaz. In fact, I do think that for Obi to say Marcus Rashford, it is his patience that will probably give him a chance to be able to play at Barcelona. Because say Barca want to try with Luis Diaz, and say you have to Liverpool for and just kind of buy and follow win the race for Luis Diaz. What it will mean is that they'll have to turn their attention to our brand here friend Marcus Rashford. I will see how Marcus Rashford works things out in terms of becoming an FC Barcelona player. But of course, I want a team Manchester United, and now almost start on preseason. Matthias Cunha in preseason. Andre Onana, all of those players that come through our preseason. And Man United for now closing in on Abrantia, your friend Abrantia, your friend what's the name? Manchester United follow are closing in on Abrantia, your friend Brian Mbuemo, who can come in and then also do the job for them or whatever. You better how things are going to pan out when it comes to Brian Mbuemo, when it comes to Noni Madueke Mo, when it comes to all of the transfer conversation, that's going on in and around Europe. And then we'll see how things are going to. But then, as it stands now, the Chelsea for plan and I'm in terms of the transfer window, what they want to do with which player, especially after Brent and Mohamed Kudus, the plan for team my friend at Chelsea Football Club, I've outlined them for you on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. And then you maybe after the Madrid game, we'll be back here for the Madrid test. We'll be back again for some more analysis, in-depth analysis, tactical analysis, and of course, top-notch analysis on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. It is stick and stay. Once subscribe to the channel and subscribe, turn on notification. But then, you take care. Bye-bye.